everybody, Jeff Bernhard, your executive gardener here. So I haven't done an episode in a while, and this episode will be featured at the Missouri City Community Garden. So those that have followed me for a while on my channel are familiar with the fact that in addition to being an avid gardener and having the executive gardener channel, I also am a vice president for a nonprofit organization called Men for Change. And what Men for Change does is it's responsible for providing scholarships and other opportunities for urban kids in the urban communities. So we raise money and do numerous things around education and advancement of young adults and providing them scholarships to advance their lives. So one of the things that we have done is we've created a community garden. And the community garden was created a year ago. It was my idea. It was funded by the employer I worked with at the time. And it was also through efforts of the organization Men for Change and some great volunteers and other people in our organization that made this possible. So the video you're going to see today is a video that will show you what the fall harvest has produced. Now, I'll warn you that we have provided one or two harvests from this garden already, but it still keeps producing food. So I'll show you the variety of things, everything from beets to lettuce to cabbage to cauliflower and broccoli. What we do here is we provide some of the volunteers that work in the garden. You'll see some people working today. They also take food for themselves. They learn about growing their own food. But we also provide food for those in need in homeless shelters in the Missouri City, Texas area. Missouri City is just southwest of Houston, Texas. So it's currently December 6th here in Houston, and as you'll see, we are growing a fall garden. So there's certain things that when we grew tomatoes and peppers in the summer, in the spring, they certainly won't grow because it's 72 degrees right now, but at night it does get to 50 degrees, and sometimes it gets close to frost. So anyway, we're growing things like kale, spinach, again, fall type, winter type crops, lettuce, etc., that you'll see here. So in the spring we gave away about 500 pounds of food to those in need in our community. And I'll show you some videos of some stuff we're going to be providing in our fall harvest for the community. So one of the big parts of the Executive Gardener channel is not just teaching people and sharing my experience about growing your own food and being healthy, but also is being a part of a community. And it's real critical that all of us become engaged in a part of our community. And whether it's sharing or teaching others in the community, we all can do certainly a lot better. So like YouTube has a community of people that show different videos, whether it's on tricks of growing things, fertilizing plants, all those type of things. The Executive Gardener channel is also about community, about giving back to your community. Many times in life, many of us, including myself, take from our community. We take resources, we take energy, we take a paycheck, but it's also about what can you give back to a community. So the garden you see today is about giving back. It's about the organization Men for Change and all of its volunteers that work with us in the community, giving back to others that may need in the community. So I hope you enjoy this video. December 6th, I think, 2014, from Missouri City Community Garden. So here we are at the Missouri City Garden. I want to share everybody the garden. This is what it looks like. I apologize in advance. Usually I do live audio and video from the site and location, but I did mess up with my audio equipment. So the audio that I have that I had slated to share with you from the garden didn't work. So as you take a look at here, this is the Missouri City Community Garden, like I said again, which is sponsored by Men for Change. And we do have 30 beds. Each of the beds are about 30 feet long and 4 feet wide, which allow us to, and they're all raised beds, which allows us to reach over and successfully plant things without laying over the beds, etc. But as you'll see here, we have numerous fall type vegetables that are in the ground here and are growing very well. So we did harvest once last week, and we provided several pounds of food to a local community food bank and those in need. But as you'll see here, we do have collards, radishes, turnips, um, cabbage, various lettuce, carrots, celery, all the things that you would expect to grow in the fall winter season that could deal with the cooler weathers. Now, this is the bed that I'm showing right here is the bed of turnips. So we had a pretty decent turnip production, and I can tell you they're decent size turnips, but as you know, turnips don't have any issue growing in the fall or winter season. All of these turnips, like most of our plants in this garden, were planted by seed. They were not planted from a seedling. So, and I know that because I was on my hands and knees, uh, getting dirty in the ground, planting these seeds. And these turnips popped up in about, I believe, 45 to 60 days and grew very well. So, as you take a look at this first turnip here, these are, or excuse me, yeah, turnip. These are kind of multicolored turnips. They come out of the ground very easy, easy to get the dirt off of, and that's because we have rich organic soil full of nice organic matter. But anytime you grow these turnips, they should easily pull right up out of the ground. For the most part in this bed, we did a pretty good job of spacing these turnips out, but some of them were kind of close to each other, so they were limited in size, and you see we planted them all along the irrigation hose. So take a look at another one here that we pull out next to the hose, easily pulled out. Look at that beautiful turnip, beautiful color, and I can tell we're not able to smell through video, at least not yet, that dimension, but great sized turnip, and someone will really appreciate this turnip. So all in all, as you'll see at the end of the video, we did put about 30 to 40 turnips for the food bank that we're going to be providing to. So that's a long shot of our turnip bed, and grew very well. Over on this bed, we do have beets. So I'm not a big fan of the beet, but the beets that we did grow, I thought turned out pretty darn good. So if we pulled this first one out, you see they're too close to each other, but pulled out very easy, and decent sized beets. These things took about 60 days, 65 days to pop up. We did harvest many of these beets a week or two ago, and we provided them for Thanksgiving for a local food shelter. But as you'll see on the other side of this bed, we do have some fall and winter strawberries that we planted as well, and that's a rosemary plant as well for those that like the herbs. But this whole bed here is beets. On the other side, you'll see we have some collard greens and some mustard greens that are growing. A large percentage of the people that we provide food to this area is largely African American, and you have to be aware of cultural issues. There's a lot of history and cultural likings to collard greens, especially in the communities we serve, and we provide all these healthy greens to people in our community that really enjoy them. So as you'll see, we've got some vibrant purple coloring in here as well. And here's some larger, different style mustard greens, which just did a fabulous job. As you'll see by the size of my hand here, these leaves and the heads of the mustard greens were absolutely spectacular. So overall, a great crop here of different collard and mustard greens that we have in this. So here we are as we look at this bed here. No winter garden would be a garden if it doesn't have carrots. So let's take a look at the carrots here. As I pull out the first carrot, kind of a short, squatty carrot, but nonetheless, it's a great carrot. Those who have not had fresh carrots, as opposed to store-bought carrots, are really missing out. So again, we harvested many of these last year. As I pick out a second one, you'll see this is a little bit longer, but good-looking carrots. Probably can leave them in for a few more weeks, but we did harvest some of the other carrots a little while ago and provided a good crop for the charitable organization we provide to. It's a whole bed of carrots, as you can see there. In addition, we do have a variety of lettuces that are planted here. I think they're romaine type lettuces. some red and some green as well. Again, we harvested much of this last week, but if you've never had fresh lettuce from a garden, it just melts in your mouth. It's unbelievable. It's delicious. On this bed, we had radishes. We pulled all these out. Those that haven't grown radishes before. It only takes about 30 days for radishes to start from seed to finished product, and we actually used the bed again and replanted a bunch of radishes. So what you're seeing here is a bunch of the newly planted radishes about a week ago. And again, here we have some onions, red onions that aren't ready to grow yet, but we'll probably get out of the ground shortly. So we'll give you, I'll continue to tour this garden and give you an idea of each of the beds. So we have more collard greens that are in that bed, as you can see. And as we go down this aisle, again, I think we have additional mustard greens and collard greens all in this bed. Most of these things took about 60 days to grow. Again, more mustard greens down this aisle. Much of this has been harvested. Some of this is growing back. We're probably going to pull most of this next week, but what can be salvaged out of this large 30-foot bed of mustard greens will be pulled today and harvested and brought to folks. I found a ladybug here, which is a good sign in the garden. So cabbage, we have many heads of cabbage. If you've grown cabbage before, you'll see it's a decent sized head, but still got about 2, 3, 4 weeks left to go, as you can see by the size of my hand. But almost done. But we'll be able to donate to folks to make coleslaw or eat cabbage whole themselves. But one whole bed of cabbage. As we kind of get to this next bed, again, I think we have additional collard greens, and you'll see Swiss chard. Those that have not grown Swiss chard, it's really an attractive plant. It's similar to spinach, very rich in nutrients. And take a look here. Here's a kind of a rainbow colored Swiss chard. So you'll see one is almost a yellow, one is a red colored, and one's a pinkish orange. So even if you don't like Swiss chard, it's certainly nice to grow in your yard to add a little color to your garden. But this whole bed is Swiss chard. I actually like Swiss chard. My wife cooks it up with some oil and some other spices and pepper and salt, and it's delicious. If you know how to cook a lot of these things, it's really good, including collard greens as well. So as you can see, we've got some collard greens there that we'll be providing to the homeless shelter as well. So as we continue to go on here, most of these collards will be cut down, and we will not probably use them past this week. So as we get to this other bed, most of you recognize this. This is broccoli, and we're going to be cutting these off. Here's one that needs to come off soon, or else it's going to bolt and start doing flowers. So a lot of heads of broccoli that we'll cut out and provide. You'll see it's a decent sized head, and as you cut the head off of broccoli, it actually sprouts little pieces of broccoli, but this head will be cut off today. You'll see that next to it, the head of that broccoli has been cut off, and some additional shoots of broccoli, like I was talking about, do sprout up once you cut the initial head off. And I tasted one of these, and I got to tell you, it's absolutely delicious. I wish you could taste it, but there's no way for you to taste it through film at this point in time. Another few heads of broccoli that will certainly be chopped through today, and I'll show you a picture of that before we put it in the bins and donate it to others. Another nice size head of broccoli. And again, some of these we chopped off the week prior to Thanksgiving, and we donated to the homeless shelter so they would enjoy their Thanksgiving. But it's fun when you film this, because you can just eat this right off the stalk as you do this. So there's another mustard green crop here. So it's really interesting smell. It's purple. Again, if you grow things in your backyard or your front yard, it's great to add some color. But the purple mustard greens were really interesting to smell. I don't know what they could go with salads or other things you cook with. They really create a very different type of taste if you add it to a salad or other things that you may cook. But here's a whole bed of them, and we did chop up some today as well to provide to those in need. So let's take a look at our final product for the day. Take a look, you see the turnips that we pulled today. We've got about 30 to 40 turnips that we'll be giving away to those in need. We've got some broccoli next to it, about 8 heads of broccoli. But I tell you, those turnips look great. In addition, we pulled a bunch of, I believe, romaine lettuce, red and green romaine lettuce that we'll be giving away. Again, broccoli. Those lemons did not come from the garden. I think one of our volunteers brought those lemons. Cauliflower. Look at the size of my hand compared to this cauliflower. Excellent fresh cauliflower. On the table, we've got some kale underneath, some collards on top, and here we have mustard greens, a whole bucket or tub of mustard greens. All of this being contributed to Second Mile to those in need of food. So to me, community garden's all about this. If you take a look at the volunteers that showed up today, everybody's having fun. We got some kids out here learning how to grow food. Some of the volunteers take a little bit home, and then we do it for the good of the community. So take a look at all this great stuff. When it comes to putting a C in community, to me, this is what it's about. So I encourage all of you to start a community garden. Get your neighbors involved. Get the people interested in giving back in the community involved. And you'll really enjoy it. So just a great day out here in the Missouri City Community Garden. Hey everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this Executive Gardener video from the Missouri City Community Garden. So as I started off by saying, you know, our channel at the Executive Gardener here is about a sense of community and sharing what we do with others. And we don't know everything about gardening, but we sure enjoy gardening, and we sure enjoy being a part of the community and teaching others how to eat healthy food. I want to thank again Men for Change, the organization that I work with that makes all of this possible. So I happen to own the Executive Gardener channel, but also I'm very passionate about my participation in Men for Change and what we can do to raise awareness around healthy eating and helping out those in the community. So I hope this video has inspired you. I encourage any of you to go to your local city, town, school district to get involved, to build a community garden like we have here. This is our first year. We're off to a great start. And I'll continue to give you updates from Missouri City and Men for Change Community Garden as we go forward. So I want to thank you for joining me for this quick video. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Also, if you have some friends that are interested in getting into gardening and want to be a part of this gardening community on YouTube, please forward it to them. Thanks for joining me here at the Executive Gardener channel. Have a good one.